guys.
Hi.
Alright, so as we promised in our April favorites video, we are back to talk about our favorite book series. This was a book series that we got introduced to in the early March. We've been completely obsessed with it throughout March and April. It is the 50 Shades series by E.L. James.
Yes. And we will say that our friend Sarah from her blog is called Downtown Southern. We'll put it below. We had a Blate, I think we mentioned it on the blog, and we were talking about books, like, are you going to read The Hunger Games? Have you read it? Why haven't you read it? How about 50 Shades? And Mindy and I were like, what? Like, we had heard it briefly on the Today Show, like, as we were getting ready, but nothing really caught. And she was like, seriously, read it. I promise you, you'll like it. So
it was enough that it piqued our curiosity, and we went out the next day trying to find the books. It took 3 Barnes & Noble for me to end up finding the first book.
I never found them on my side of town. So.
50 Shades of Grey. I found this behind the customer service center at one of my Barnes & Nobles on my side of town. Just because I had to walk around the store and ask a couple people, like, do you have any of the 50 Shades of Grey's copy? Because I've heard that, like, they were print on demand. I'd heard that they were sold out, that they were going to get more in.
There was a lot of confusion at the different Barnes & Nobles because where she found it, they had a bunch. And then I went to the same day another Barnes & Noble, and that man had told me that the store had already had a little meeting about it and that it was a print on demand and that I couldn't get it unless I ordered it online. So clearly, I think it blew up and everybody wanted it. Like, and she was lucky. She found the first one and then got to order the second two.
Yeah, and I will tell you that when I got these, they were $30 a piece. Jamie tells me that maybe the price has already gone down on these, but that's okay. I would pay $90 for these 3 books, like, over and over.
Because they weren't. I don't think they were mass produced, when she bought them.
The publishing house, the Writer's Coffee Shop, I believe, just picked it up originally, and that's where these books were published out of. And I think a new publishing house,
I think something
has
like
picked
that
them up now. But okay, so just so you can see the covers, 50 Shades of Grey. You have 50 Shades Darker, and you have 50 Shades Freed.
Now, we'll go ahead and say that for me, if we hadn't heard a little bit on the Today Show and then had Sarah just to tell us, no, you need to go get them, I am a judge a book by its cover kind of thing. I wouldn't have picked these up just walking through. I don't know that you would have.
No.
Like, because there's nothing... When you read the books, you'll understand everything, but it didn't make... I was like, oh, it looks like a textbook almost. Like, it looks like an anthology that I read when I was in college, so...
Yeah. I don't know how long it actually would have taken us to go get these books, and I'm so glad that Sarah turned us on to them when she did, because while the books have taken off and they're all the rage now, I mean, we're done with them, and we have a lot of friends who are reading them. Yeah. But these books are not for the faint of heart. They are for a mature audience. Yeah. We know that not everyone is going to be interested in hearing our review on these books, but if you're not, you can go ahead and stop watching now.
And no spoilers. No. This is just a chit-chat about the book itself and everything, that's the hype about it and what we thought, but we're not going to give any spoilers. It's just going to be like a little chit-chat about it. So if you've not read it and you want to read it, I don't think anything that we're going to say is going to ruin the books for you.
I mean, the Today Show and a lot of the entertainment shows have already talked about that these books are the books that have all of the housewives of America all hot and bothered. Yeah. Now, going into this, we will say that we loved these books.
Yes. And let's give you some backstory. E.L. James first started these books as fan fiction coming off of the Twilight novels. So what that means, if you guys don't know what that means, is she basically like continued a story based on Edward and Bella. Okay, well, we didn't actually find that out until after we started reading. So that doesn't, because we loved the Twilight books. The movies were okay, but the books were phenomenal. So that didn't really... We started reading it, so we already had visions of what we thought. We never thought Edward and Bella. But that's how she got started with this. These are her first novels.
Yes.
And
they have all kinds of talks in the are out right now about them being produced into movies. And we're so excited about that. We have all of our visions of who we want cast for the roles.
We are going to be hardcore about that, let me tell you.
Yes, we are. Now, as far as the subject matter... It is racy.
Yes, it's racy. It's adult. It's have an open mind. I mean, if you're ultra conservative, that's awesome if you are. Yeah. I'm not knocking anybody. If you're ultra conservative, I don't know, you might not get into it. I'm not ultra conservative. I think we're very much open-minded. Mm-hmm. It's not like these books...
you can't compare these books to like Harlequin romance novels either.
No.
There's a much better story
yes.
in these books because at the heart of it, it is a love story.
Yes, it is.
But it crosses into a more mature... What do we say?
let's just break it down. It's like porn-ish subject in here.
Yes.
Okay, that being said, it's not... I've heard reviews that these books are against women and it's violence towards women because the guy is... This part everybody knows if you've watched TV at all. There is...
The lead character is Anastasia Steele. The man who is her love interest is Christian Grey. He's a billionaire.
And he's a dominant.
Yes, and he is interested in Anastasia as his submissive.
All right, so that's where we'll leave that. But that's what you've gotten. That's what you can get from the news. So we're not spoiling anything. And I think if you read the backs, you'll find that out. So that being said, you can pretty much guess some of the stuff that you're going to read in there. Doesn't mean that everybody that reads it, that's what goes on behind closed doors.
Right.
Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. That's all relative. At the same time, it's under such harsh criticism that every day we're like, can you believe what that person just said? Like, if we'd read it and been like, oh my gosh, that is so awful, who does that? Yeah. Then that's what we'd be saying. And it's like, cool, like I'm not going to knock anybody for reading it. I'm not going to knock anybody for not reading it.
Right.
But if you're not reading it and you don't even know what it is and you're already saying you hate it, why does that irritate me?
No, everybody that I've talked to who has said, oh, it's mommy porn or it's for soccer moms.
I'm like,
no, it's not. And if you're saying that, then it's because you haven't read it.
Yes.
It's much more to it than that. There's suspense in it. There's action. So it's got a thriller kind of.
It's even almost like a coming of age type thing too.
Yes.
Like for both characters, which is really cool. I read somewhere somebody knocked the writing, and I was like, okay. Former English major. Yeah. This irritates me because I've read everything from, well, if you guys know, I've read everything from Charles Dickens to oh my gosh, Moby Dick, which I'm sorry if you love it, but I thought that was the hardest book ever to get through. Shakespeare, all that. These are not classics.
Right.
Nobody, I mean, I think she's a great writer for the story that she put, the storyline that she has, and the subject matter. I think she did a great job holding our interest so that both of us, two people that read totally different types of books, found it interesting enough that Mindy went through the first book and then she let me have the book, and then I'd come in and be like, oh my gosh, I'm right here. And she'd be like, okay, well, I can't say too much.
Yeah.
And it was an everyday thing. I'd come in and be like, oh my gosh, this just happened.
Yeah. And they're books that we will definitely reread also. Like, I'm already excited. I've only finished the last book maybe 3 weeks ago. Has it been longer than that? No, I think probably 3 weeks. And I'm already anxious to pick it up and reread it again because we have so many friends now who are reading it. And the book is kind of running, all 3 books are running together for me. And I'm like, I got to go back and reread them because I need it to be fresh in my mind again. And if they come out in a movie, I know I'm going to reread them before the movie comes out.
Me too.
And there's a lot to talk about who they're going to cast for Christian and Anna's role. And let me just tell you, you need somebody who is tall, lean, muscular, smoldering, playful at times. This is for Christian's role. Yeah.
Can be pretty, but manly and a little rugged too.
Yeah. So we have our ideas for who we want to cast for Christian. But we are going to be writing lots of letters to the production company if they mess this up. So just, oh my gosh. Now, Anna's role, we don't necessarily have one specific person that we're thinking of.
We know a bunch of people that we don't want to play her, but we haven't found. I personally think that they need to bring in almost like a no-name girl that we don't know who she is. We can't associate her with anything. Because that's what's going to ruin it. If they bring in big names that
you have pegged in other roles, like the people who've played other characters in other movies that are really that character in your mind, it would totally mess up.
Like, I've read online that literally people that know that this was fan fiction based off Twilight, that they seriously want Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart to come and play these two. No. They are Edward and Bella.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's also been talk that Ryan Gosling would possibly be in the running for Christian's role. No, for me personally, I know he's done 25 movies since then, but he will always be Noah from The Notebook. I cannot see him playing Christian's role.
I just don't think his face is right for it.
I don't think he's he's cute in a boyish way, but he's not kind of rough and manly enough for me. Anastasia's role, I kind of think it's got to be someone with a really naive, young, innocent look to her,
really
with
fresh
really
face.
Big doe eyes and
dark hair.
Yeah, dark hair. So there's a couple of options out there for Anna.
Yeah, I think the bottom line to this series is that, because we've read a lot of blogs where people are like, "Oh, I can't read it. It's got sex-related stuff in it," and I'm like,
"You don't know what you're missing."
How old are we? Okay.
Yeah.
18 and up.
Right.
Okay. But it's entertainment. Like, the people that are saying, "Oh my gosh, I can't read this. It's got some adult stuff in it." It made me blush a couple times.
Absolutely.
I thought it was funny.
Well,
I got uncomfortable a couple times. I laughed a couple times. I got a little hot and bothered a couple times. I was like, wow, like, this book, you get angry in these books.
You do.
You get, like, teary in these books. Like, you get just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe. I don't know. It's entertainment. That's why you go to the movies. I mean, the people that say that they don't want to read this, that's cool. But you go to the movies, like Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Right.
Now, I haven't seen it, but she told me that there were some scenes that were pretty
rough.
And that was violent stuff.
It was
violent.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. And that book series was a huge rage. Yeah. So people obviously know what they're getting into when they go in to see the movie for that. Yeah. I mean, you kind of know what you're getting. That's one reason why we wanted to film this video, is to let you know a little bit of what you're getting.
Yeah, so if it's not something that you're interested in, you won't waste your time.
Right.
You won't read, whatever. And if it's something that you've been on the fence about and you're not sure, like, you can feel free to email us or message us or whatever, because we've loved them. I mean, my mom won't mind me saying this. My mom read them and she's like, I love Anna and Christian. So it spans. I have a friend that's reading it now, and she said that, like, someone a little younger than my mom, so in her 50s, recommended it to her. So everybody likes this. We have everyone from our moms to our sisters to our friends, our coworkers. There are so many people right now who have caught on to the hype with this and are loving the book series. And we will just tell you, just pick it up, start reading it. If at any point it gets uncomfortable for you, put it down. Maybe you need to just step away from it for a little while. If you are interested, like we were, and you keep going, you're in for a ride, because it is an amazing book trilogy. Yeah, I love it. It is. We just say keep an open mind. I mean, that's what all this stuff is for, like music and movies and books. And it's all fun. It's all fun. Just because you read it doesn't mean that people are gonna think, oh my gosh, they do all that stuff. Yeah. Like, I read somewhere that somebody didn't want to go pick them up at the bookstore because they were embarrassed. And I'm like, it's not the back room in a movie store. Like, it's a book. I don't know if they have that. I don't know. But anyway, not that I've been in them. Yeah. And we will tell you also that all the people that we have turned on to the book since we have read them, we've not had a single person come back to us with anything less than, oh my gosh, I'm obsessed. And the group of girls have ranged, I mean, they're so different from one another that I find it fascinating that all of them like it, and we're all so different in what we read and what we like. So keep in mind, at the root of it, there is a love story. It's a very good story. You will love the series if you get into it. So it's not all just like whips and chains. No, there's plenty of that. But we just wanted to introduce you guys, if you had not heard already, which I'm sure you have, a little bit about the books and what our thoughts were. I hope we didn't offend anyone with this. I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
sorry.
whatever. But this was a huge favorite for April, so we felt like we had to. And I'll be honest with you, we think that if we come across another series like this, or another book, or something like this that has grabbed us enough that we spend a lot of time chit-chatting about it, then we're going to probably do another one of these. So.
Absolutely. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much.
I
know if you're reading, if you are finished, if you were curious and have any questions, drop us a comment. We'll be more than happy to answer back.
Awesome.
Talk to you guys later.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.